Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Classic Gamer 74. I am your host, Anthony Gamer, and I am Alligator. On this channel, we discuss all kinds of video games, from old to new, a little bit of music, a little bit of wrestling, and all kinds of fun stuff. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please subscribe. It would mean the world to us. With that being said, the arcade is now open. I think that is always so cool when that happens. Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't always work. Oh yeah, I heard about that last week. Anyway, today we is going to be talking about some rare and valuable Colecovision games. In the past 2 episodes, we have been discussing games that start their price value at about $50 loose and go up from there. And that's what we're going to be doing this week as well. Right you are, and as a quick disclaimer, these prices that we are being quoted here for you are current as of June 2022. And as many of you that are collectors out there know, prices are prone to the market and, supply and demand and all that good stuff. So prices have been known to go up or down at the moment's notice. So please, if you find games cheaper than this, or if you find them more expensive, well, like I said, these prices are subject to change, so we are not being held responsible. But remember that if you find a price that is too good to be true, it probably is. Please consult with an expert. The people on AtariAge.com in the forums will be glad to help you out. So without further ado, let's get into the games. And first up on the list today is Sky Jaguar. This was based on, I believe, an arcade game that came out in the early 80s. Pretty cool shooting game. One of them ones here where you go and shoot up stuff in this airplane. The game itself is a little bit on the rare side, though. If you wanted to add this here game to your collection, look to spend around $125. And next up we have Joust. This is one of my all-time favorite arcade games. I just love it, especially the 7800 version. Yeah, I remember one time you was playing that for like hours and hours on end, and then we had to stop. I had to stop you. Well, yeah, because, I had other stuff to do. But, this game is just so addicting. I remember when I first got the game years ago, I loved it. Now, this particular port of it was made by Team Pixel Boy in 2014. Many of you probably know the game. You're riding an ostrich, and you're fighting against these evil vulture-riding gladiators. You got a pterodactyl that comes at you. It's just a lot of fun and a challenging game, and just one that I'm sure you yourself probably enjoy. If you would like to add this particular game to your ColecoVision collection, it's going to set you back a little bit. A loose cart of this will run you right around $140. Okay, this next game we got here is a little on the interesting side, to say the least. It's called Multiverse, and this game here, it kind of reminds me a lot of that one game you was playing a while back. What was that, Earthbound? Yeah, it does kind of. Yeah, it's got some interesting story about multiple worlds and all kinds of weird stuff. Anyway, this one here is a little on the expensive side, so if you would like to own this game, be prepared to spend around $143. This next game is an interesting one. I believe it's actually more well known in Europe than it is here in America, as I had never even heard of it until I started watching Kim Justice videos, and she discussed it several times. And this is Uridium. This space age type game is really a lot of fun, high-packed action, and it was released for several computers, and finally a homebrew programmer made it for the Commodore. Now what you're looking at is the Commodore 64 computer. I meant to say the ColecoVision, sorry about that. This is the Commodore version of it, as I couldn't get the ROM to work. I tried everything, but regardless, it's a really fun, action-packed shooter game, and you got to be really on your toes on this one, or else you're going to get yourself obliterated. Now, if you'd like to grab a hold of this game, be ready to spend around $144. Alright, and next up we have Gradius. This is a really cool arcade game that was ported out by Code Games for the Colecovision in December of 2016. Unfortunately, this is another one of those games we just could not find a ROM for, as some of these homebrew programmers did not dump a ROM, which again is their right, of course. Anyway, a pretty cool horizontal space shooter game. Not really unique, but it's still a whole lot of fun, and I tell you, I had a lot of fun playing it myself. Now, if you'd like to get a hold of this game, it's going to cost you a little bit. Just a loose cart will run you right around $175. Now, I know you've been waiting to do this one. Oh, I sure have. Yes, here we have the world's biggest Pink Panther fan, once again hot on the trail of another lost Pink Panther game. Take it away. Alright, so many of you know that I was a big fan of Pursuit of the Pink Panther. I was so excited when it was found. I bought my own copy of the cart and blah blah. So of course there were rumors way back in the day that there were going to be Pink Panther games for other systems. Probe 2000 was supposed to make one for the Odyssey 2, which I'd like to see that. But anyway, and a ColecoVision version was rumored, as well as an Atari 8. What you're looking at here is the preview that was shown at a show back in '83 to advertise the game. As you can see, it's a lot different than the Pursuit of the Pink Panther game, and was actually titled Adventures of the Pink Panther. Now, I could spend a whole video talking about this, but we've got other games to cover, so I'll make it kind of brief. What you're looking at here are some of the known photographs of this particular lost prototype. We have the box here. We got cartridge shots, etc., etc. Now, as to whether the game that prototype cart is floating around is kind of hard to say. The ROM for that preview has been readily dumped. Now, according to rumor, I heard that some individuals did make their own Pink Panther game based on, I guess, the footage that they found, and that they released it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I haven't been able to get in touch with any of those particular individuals that were on the programming team. They did make some posts a few years ago saying that they were working on it. I don't know. So anyway, now, so the price that I have here, this may be for the actual prototype cart. I'm assuming it is, and if you happen to be one of the people that has that prototype cart, it will currently run you around $182. Now, if there is any confirmation on the existence of the ColecoVision port that was made years ago, let me know about it in the comments section below. I would love to get a hold of it, or love to get a hold of a ROM, or if you have a ROM, please let us know in the comments section below, as I am a big Pink Panther nut, always have been, and I try to get a hold of everything Pink Panther related, so please let us know. Okay, and next up we have Alcazar, the Forgotten Fortress. Now, this was a game that was made by Activision, and it pretty much is a Activision game. I mean, you can just tell by looking at it that it was. I mean, in this adventure game, you control an explorer who's on his way to the fortress Alcazar. You have to travel through the countryside fortresses, and you need to collect items. It's pretty much a regular good old-fashioned dungeon crawling game. Really a lot of fun, and the graphics are just amazing. I love these kind of games. Like Anthony, I just love, the AD&D and all that good stuff. This game, however, is gonna set you back just a little bit. If you would like to get a hold of this game, be ready to spend $200. Alright, next up we have Amazing Bumpman. Now, I'm a big proponent of edutainment games. Many of you know that. This one I didn't overly care for that much, because it's a lot of work to get something done. It's an adding or subtracting game, and you're trying to use this guy called Bumpman to bump the numbers to the center in order to do math questions. It's a lot of work to do a simple task. Yeah, I can't recommend it. for playing sake. Even back in the day, the game was really rare. It was only available through mail order, and when you got the game, it came in a bag with instructions. So if you've seen any boxes out there, they're fan-made. Back in the day, it didn't have a box, but even back then, it was pretty rare. To find this game loose, it's going to cost you right around $218. Speaking of edutainment games, that brings us to our next game, and probably one of the single most expensive edutainment games that I've ever seen. Oh, you and me both. And that is Wizard of Id's Math, or Wizard of Id's Math, something like that. Anyway, this game was released way back in January of 1983, and this is an edutainment game where you're doing different forms of math and matching numbers and all kinds of stuff. And this one actually is a lot of fun. Oh, I agree, it really is. But unfortunately, as it is extremely rare and valuable, it's going to set you back just a little bit in order to get this. If you would like to add this to your game collection, be ready to spend $229. Tetris is the single most ported game in the history of gaming. It's available for phones, computers, handheld devices, game systems, you name it. However, there wasn't a version made for the Colecovision, so a game programmer named Kevin Horton created Tetris. And that's what you're looking at right here. And you know the game. If you don't know about Tetris, well, of course, you all do. Everyone knows Tetris. Yeah, but I bet that there are just a couple people out there that probably have never played it. That's true. But anyway, so if you are one of those people, you're trying to make lines with these dropping blocks, it's a really fun and addictive game. And if you've played it once, you'll see why it's considered one of the greatest games of all time and why it is the single most ported game of all time. Unlike other iterations of Tetris, which can be mostly readily available, this particular homebrew version is going to set you back just a little bit. If you would like to add Tetris to your growing Colecovision collection, be ready to spend about $253 for this gem. In our previous episode, we discussed another coming-of-age movie called Porky's. This coming-of-age movie called The Goonies is one, though, that the whole family can readily enjoy. This is based on a game that was released for the Famicom in Japan. It never got a US release. In America, we got The Goonies 2 for the NES, but we never got the original Goonies game, which is kind of weird, but especially since there was never a second movie. But anyway, in this game you are trying to rescue your friends and find the treasure, just like in the movie. This homebrew version that you're looking at here was created in 2012 by Team Pixel Boy. If you'd like to get a hold of this game, it's going to cost you just a little bit. A loose card alone will run you $281. Alright, and what we have here is Comic Bakery. I had never heard of this game until recently, and I'm glad I found it. This game is a whole lot of fun. Unfortunately, we don't have the ROM for the ColecoVision version. What you're looking at is the Commodore 64 version. It's a whole lot of fun. In this game, you are trying to stop these raccoons from sabotaging your bakery. They're eating the buns, they're shutting off the machines. You gotta spray them and then kick them out and try to stop them before they get rid of destroy all your buns. They can get them from above on your level. It's always something going on. I'll tell you, it's a whole lot of fun. And when I read a review on it, someone posted that their favorite aspect was the music, and oh yeah, the music is great. That Commodore 64 music, nothing like it. I'd really like to see the ColecoVision version someday. Hopefully I can get a hold of a ROM someday. If you'd like to add this game to your ColecoVision collection, it's going to run you right at $300. And next up, we have the second most rare and valuable game for the Colecovision, and that is Skiing by Telegames. Telegames games usually are a little on the rare and valuable side, and this is no exception. It's pretty much what it looks like. You're doing downhill skiing or you're doing a slalom. Not a bad game. The graphics are kind of nice, but not my favorite, of course. If you'd like to add this game to your ColecoVision collection, be ready to spend right around $300 for this game. And the rarest and most valuable game for the ColecoVision is Nether Dungeon. Matter of fact, it's so rare and valuable, we didn't find the ROM file. Sorry, guys. But what we do have are some screenshots and a couple cartridge shots. Yep. The information on this game is a little hard to come by. From what we've seen, it kind of reminds us a little bit of your typical role RPG games from back in the day, like Ultima or Heroes of the Lance or something like that. Looks kind of cool, but oh, is it expensive. If you were looking to add this little gem to your collection, be ready to spend $510. In our next episode, I'm not going to be here. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about that. Yep, I'm going to be taking the month of July off. So, the next few episodes will be hosted by these guys, by my co-hosts. Oh, that's going to be fun. Yep, and I'm also going to have a summer contest that I'll talk about. And I'm going to show some playthrough videos and some other stuff that I usually do when I take some time off. I'm going to be starting a new job, and so I'm going to leave it up to these guys. But I will be answering emails, so please, if you have any questions or any concerns or anything, please get in touch with me through my social media. Also, the best place to find me is on the Atari Age forums. I use the handle ClassicGamer74. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Classic Gamer 74. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, let us know by giving us a great big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. So until next time, I am Anthony Gamer, and I am Alligator, and we wish you all a great month of July. Until next time, be strong, be safe, be happy, be healthy. And above all, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and stop hate of all kinds. With that said, the arcade is closed. See you guys soon. Bye. Goodbye, everybody.